What's up, everybody? I'm here to talk to you about alcoholism. Why don't you buckle up? It's going to be a fun ride. So, I'll explain that in a minute. How's it going, YouTube? I'm here with another video. I want to talk to you guys about alcoholism, and then why, if you're an alcoholic, why you should be proud of it, actually, and not ashamed of it. So let me kind of start at the beginning here. When I was drinking a bunch, I think for a while, you kind of know, deep down, you're like, fuck, I'm probably an alcoholic, but it's something that you avoid, and maybe sometimes only in your drunk moments can you actually admit that to yourself, that you're an alcoholic, or even allow your mind to go to that possibility. But what keeps you away from wanting to admit it and to kind of be open about it and go down that path is the fear of missing out, the fear of having fun, or not having fun anymore, and the stigma around calling yourself an alcoholic and feeling like you're weak or you're broken. People are going to be repelled by you, that it's shameful, that it's just not something that you want to call yourself, and to the untrained mind, heart, and soul, why would the fuck you want to call yourself an alcoholic? But this is why I wear my alcoholism as a badge of honor now, and truthfully, I wouldn't change it even if there was a drug that allowed me to take alcohol successfully. I wouldn't do it, and here's why. Because the main difference between a drunk and an alcoholic is that a drunk is someone who revels in the fact that they drink too much, and that's just kind of their life, and they're, a booze hound or a lush or whatever kind of romantic nomenclature you want to apply to your condition. It's still you just drink all the time, and there's no personal journey, there's no refinement, there's no inner turmoil trying to get to a better self. You've just kind of accepted that this is going to be your biggest flaw and this is who you are, and fuck it, and who gives a shit, right? An alcoholic, especially someone who has admitted that to themselves and is working on being sober, it takes character, and it takes a strength that drunks don't possess, and that is you have to reach deep inside of all of your flaws and bullshit and pull it out and be like, this is what's wrong with me. This is my fucked up shit, and this is why I can't have alcohol. And you have to tell everyone, you have to admit it to yourself, and you start down a journey which in the very beginning can feel very like, like this kind of sucks. I can't drink anymore, and everything that I have up until now thought it as fun, I can't partake in anymore, But the further along you get with that journey, the better it becomes, and you realize it really becomes less and less about alcohol and just more and more about you. More and more about figuring out who you are and what you want to do with this life. And slowly but surely, alcohol just kind of falls by the wayside, and you just continue to do other things with your life, and that is the entire goal here, right? Is that even in sobriety, I believe your life shouldn't revolve around sobriety, where, in the pits of your drinking, you shouldn't have alcohol be the focal point of your life. Doing things with your life and finding passions, that should be, the focal point of your life, not just consuming or not consuming alcohol. Like when you really zoom out, those are small little parts of your life, of your day-to-day. They should not, even in recovery, I don't think every single day should be around, oh, this is sober and that is sober and this is sober. Like, fucking go do other shit. And obviously, this is my method. This is what works for me. I'm not telling you that this is the one true method. So just know that, I feel like it's, for me, the only method that ever really worked was just cutting the bullshit and just stop drinking and not allowing myself slip-ups, like if I have to, just be very vocal about it and just be like, fuck, I want to drink and I don't want to drink, like I want to fucking take my goddamn hands shut, whatever you got to do to not allow yourself to slip up and push past those. And like I've said in other videos, rather than like try to repel that, you just sit with those thoughts and allow them to come, and then they pass, and then now you're there and you didn't fuck up, and those urges and cravings will subside. quick side note to the Deadpool mask. So when I first stopped drinking, you know, I was trying to figure out who I was and what I was. And back in, you know, high school, I was really into like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, little miniatures that you have to put together and prime and paint. You would play games with them. I was always into like fantasy stuff, but I was a social butterfly. I knew everyone. You know, I'd like do Dungeons and Dragons party nights, you know, and with all my like core group of friends. And then, you know, I'd go to high school parties and all this stuff, you know, so I wasn't just kind of isolated in that one group or culture. I kind of spread throughout, even though that was really my core. And then as my adult life progressed and I drank more and I partied more, and then I, you know, was able to legally drink and go to bars and such, breweries kind of became my identity, and beer and craft beer. And craft beer was a really kind of an easy way of being like, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm not a drunk, I'm just passionate about tasting all these different beers that happen to be 10% alcohol, you know. And so I kind of, you know, I drowned out my identity for a long time, you know. Like, my identity was booze. Every birthday, every Christmas, everyone knew what they were getting me, alcohol, and I would just be super happy because that just meant these are, like, no one could tell me that I couldn't drink it because it was a gift, like, you know. So when I finally stopped drinking, you know, and I started focusing on myself and trying to be like, what the hell do I even like, you know, I found out all of my old passions just kind of came back in full force and even stronger than before. And I've always liked superheroes, and I've always been into them, and I read comics a little bit here and there, but I really kind of like fell in love with Deadpool, and it had kind of blown my mind that I hadn't seen it. A friend had turned me on to the comics a little bit before the movies came out because they said they were making this movie, and I was like, I don't know who Deadpool is. And they were like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're like Deadpool. Like, how the fuck do you not know who Deadpool is? So I started reading the comics, and I got really into him, and I saw the movie, and Ryan Reynolds fucking knocks that shit out of the park. And so that Halloween, my first sober Halloween, I went into a Halloween store, and they just had this entire Deadpool wall. So I was like, yep, and I bought all the Halloween costumes, and slowly but surely I've put together an even better and better costume until I got this little guy. It's like $250, but worth it. But the reason why Deadpool, I think, resonated with me so much is because he has this, you know, really aggressive cancer that is always trying to eat him from the inside out, but his Weapon X program is constantly balancing that out and not allowing it to kill him, and also making him this superhero that he is. Where I kind of attribute that to my alcoholism, right? Like, I've always had kind of this like inner pull to constantly try to like drink and kind of destroy myself, you know, kill myself from the inside out, because I have this turmoil of this alcoholism. But my sobriety has allowed me to combat that, you know, and allow me to be this super awesome version of myself, you know. And Deadpool's just fucking badass. So I just clung to that, you know. It's something that I really ran with, and it's something that I've learned through myself because I'm focusing on myself. I'm not necessarily focusing on Kyle without alcohol or Kyle with alcohol or anything like that. I just want to figure out who I am, just kind of the bottom of the line. But yeah, kind of getting back to wearing your alcoholism as a badge of honor, you know, and of pride, like people with Down syndrome or people that are deaf, you know, like within their communities, it isn't a bunch of people feeling sorry for one another. You know, they say themselves, they're like, we love who we are. We love our communities. We like it this way. They don't want to be different. They're happy that they were born that way. They were dealt the cards that they were dealt, and they made the best of it, and they learned to love that hand, you know, which is exactly what you should do. It's okay that you're an alcoholic, you know. It's fine. In fact, it's better because it forces you to be this better version of yourself. You have to find the treasures in life that are a little bit more difficult to get in the beginning, because it's not so easy, or it's not as easy like how people can just take a drink and they're happy and they, you know, kind of float on these little journeys. You have to kind of like actively seek it out, but the rewards are so much more fulfilling and more rich, you know, because you know that you and you alone are the engine that got you there, you know, like your own ambition, your own drive is what really got you there. And especially being an alcoholic, I talk about this a lot, the juxtaposition of your old life to now, it allows you to appreciate the little tiny things in life, you know. And if you're ever fearful about making that commitment or that plunge to go to the other side of finally committing to the fact that, like, I'm an alcoholic, I have to tell myself, I gotta tell everyone else, blah, 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 like, you have to do it. You have to do it, or you are dooming yourself to a life of repeating over and over and over again. You're dooming yourself to a Groundhog's Day, you know? Like, you know where you're gonna end up. You're gonna end up right back in the same position you are, going, fuck, I really need to stop drinking. And then you drink, and then bam, fuck, I really need to stop drinking, you know? Even if you get sober for like a week, 2 weeks, and then you slip up and bam, you always end up back there, you know? It's this weird slippery hill that, you know, you keep climbing and climbing and climbing, thinking that one day you're gonna get out, and you're not, because you're not putting on, you know, those boots of sobriety that will allow you to get the fuck out of there, you know? You just keep hoping and thinking that one day somehow this is all gonna work, but you know it's not gonna fucking work, you know? Like, and that's okay. It's okay to be an alcoholic, you know? And like I said, I wouldn't change it. I fucking love who I am now. I really do. And on April 2nd, it'll be 2 years that I haven't drank. So April 1st was the last actual time that I drank, and April 2nd was my first day of sobriety. And it's crazy that I stopped drinking on that. Or the last time I drank was on an April Fool's Day, which is really easy for me to remember that date. But I touched base on this in the last video, the one titled I'm Not Special. There's a lot of people that, you know, I get a lot of comments and messages and stuff like that from people that are saying that they, like, look up to me and, you know, they appreciate these videos and stuff, and I cannot express enough how much that means to me, and sometimes how very weird it is for me to, like, feel like I'm the person doing that, you know, because it just wasn't this way for a very long time. But I've come to understand the power of words, you know, like, sometimes all that person needs is to hear that, you know, or for me to respond to a comment, you know. I try to do that as much as I can, but it can just take a little nudge. That's why, like, throughout my day, sometimes I'll just think of a buddy I haven't talked to in a long time, and I shoot him a text just being like, hey man, like, I just want to let you know, like, I miss you and I think about you, you know, and I can't wait to the next time I see you. And, you know, if you ever get that kind of random text message from someone or a phone call, it brightens up your whole day, you know, and you're like, damn, someone out there was just thinking of me. So I try to do that first, you know, rather than waiting on the world to give to you. Go out there and do it first, you know, because it is so much more rewarding, you know. Even in this journey of sobriety, you can focus not even so much on, you know, like, constantly building yourself, you know, like, that's a part of it, but, like, trying to do good for others. It kind of takes the focus off so much of, like, am I doing this right, am I doing this wrong, blah 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 blah, you know. Like, helping other people will help yourself as well. It keeps you grounded, allows you to feel like you're doing something good in the world, because you are, you know. So I guess that's about it, you guys. Just be proud of who you are, even if you're an alcoholic. Diabetics aren't ashamed that they're diabetics, you know, so alcoholics shouldn't be ashamed that they're alcoholics. We've all made mistakes in the past, and we've all done shit. But when you admit to yourself that you're an alcoholic, you're wiping the slate clean. This is you 2.0. Like, everything is new from here. Apologize to the people that you feel like you got to apologize, but I ain't about digging up old shit, and, like, especially people you don't talk to anymore that, like, they've probably moved on and forgotten about that. Like, unless it's something that's eating you up inside, like, fuck that noise, you know. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave the comments below, and let me know any videos that you would like to see. Like I said, I'm just a normal dude, you know, that just stopped drinking, and I hope that I can help more normal dude and dudettes stop drinking as well. And hopefully I'm going to start uploading some of my powerlifting videos here. I'm gearing up to do a meet this year, and maybe I'll even do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison of when I was drinking to when I wasn't drinking, and the results are pretty crazy. So anyway, guys, I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you all next time.